All right, so before we even get started with the video, we got to address the big Taylor Swift-shaped elephant in the room. Like, can y'all please, for the love of baby black Jesus, get this TMZ shit off my TV? Golly. Like, I get it. I'm basically just screaming at a wall here because the NFL is a hoe and will do practically anything for more attention and more money that it most definitely does not need. But I'm personally finna start a petition to have all Chiefs games flex out of prime time for the rest of the season, just so I don't gotta hear no more about Travis the Traffic Cop's jersey sales or Instagram followers. I hated it with Tom and Giselle. I hated it with Aaron Rodgers and that G4 chick who played Psylocke in that one X-Men movie. And I hated it with Russ and Sierra. Like, seriously, I don't need to hear anything about Future's exes except in his music, or on Twitter, or during family court proceedings. Like, Jesus, man, just break the thing off and write the damn album already. So I don't gotta hear no more about Swifties seeing the forward pass for the first time in their lives. Like, listen, I get it. Football is not for everybody, but did y'all, like, never go to a game in high school before? Like, homecoming at least? What was y'all doing on Friday nights anyway? All right, well, I guess it makes sense now. Like, I know Kevin Fredericks already made this joke, but I feel like I finally get why all those people were bitching about Cat back in the day. Actually, no, I lied. I mean, I didn't lie about knowing what y'all's problem was. I mean, we all kind of know why y'all was bitching, but this ain't that channel, remember? Like, man, I just want to watch football games and eat food, steak, pork, chitlins. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, if I just wanted to see pretty white women bopping around on the sideline on a Sunday afternoon, that's literally what we have the cheerleaders for. Anyway, we're at the point in the season where takes are starting to move from fresh out the fryer to room temp water. Unless you're ESPN. That's basically their whole gimmick at this point. Point being, I think 4 games in, we have a good enough idea of at least what to expect from most of the league this year. Some good, some bad, and some bears. So we're going to talk today about some of the biggest surprises, disappointments, and also the bears, and give out awards to some of them folks. Yeah, even the bears. All right, let's do this. Okay, first award, the James Doak Surprisingly Good Team Trophy goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Washington No Names. Okay, so before y'all say this is just me trying to make the most unimpressive 4-0 record in league history look a lot better, I mean, it kind of is, but just hear me out for a second. The Bucks were supposed to be 10 toes down into the Caleb Williams sweepstakes by this point, remember? But here they are at 3-1 and probably the favorites to win a division that features a Panthers team still at the, well, at least it can't get any worse phase of their rebuild, aka 2022 Bears mode. Again, more on that later. The Saints' biggest offseason move was signing the born-again Christian version of Kirk Cousins, and he can't even stay upright long enough to get Kirk's numbers. And all you need to know about the Falcons is they have Tucker from Fresh Prince playing QB. Yeah, that's all you really need to know about Atlanta. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay has Chris Godwin, who's like a top 35 or 30 receiver, and Mike Evans, who's probably the most underrated Hall of Famer in the league since them niggas that used to deflate Brady's game balls. Also, a QB I never thought was nearly as great or horrible as the national media made him out to be. Like, is he a franchise quarterback? No, not at all. But neither is like 3/4 of the other QBs who started this past week. Like, if Baker had the team and more importantly, the coach that Purdy has today, like 4 years ago, he'd be Dak. And I stand on that. More important than all of that, Tampa has one of the best defensive coaches of the last decade at least, and a solid at worst D, specifically their front four. And in a league where there's only like, 7 or 8, if I'm being generous, legit franchise quarterbacks, You can win a bunch of games by just deboing the other teams off the field and scoring like 21 or so points. Now, I'm not going to cap with y'all like I knew Washington was going to be legit good because nobody outside of the DMV really expected that except maybe Perna. But some of y'all were acting like this team doesn't have probably the most underrated receiving core in at least the conference. A quarterback who doesn't play like a double agent, and more importantly than all of that, a sneaky, scary front forward. Like, seriously, Washington has invested more in this D-line than Russ has in other niggas' kids. And this is exactly why I said I'm tired of hearing about this stuff. Like, why am I even making jokes like this? Like I said with the Bucks, you can win a lot with a good D, both in life and in the league. You can win even more with a solid quarterback, which Washington seems to have. People seem to forget that they were competing for a playoff berth as late as like last December. So it shouldn't be a complete shock, but I mean, still.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Okay, the next group of winners is for the Yes, That Was My First Time Crushing Disappointment Award, which goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Bengals. All right, so I know y'all might have expected the Vikings or the Bears here, but don't worry, I got awards for them later. And as far as Minnesota, like, I didn't watch a lot of them last year, and by not a lot, I mean I really just watched the Eagles home opener where they got waxed, and then the wild card game. But I mean, they lost that game to Daniel Jones. I don't know what else to tell y'all. What was y'all expecting this year? Not gonna lie, the Jags are more personal disappointment than anything else. Not that I have any personal investment in Jacksonville. And I mean, they have won 2 games, but it was against this nigga and the Terminator in his first career start. So, yeah, take that for what it's worth. I don't know, man. For a team that a lot of people, myself included, thought would just raw dog this division, that Texans L looks worse than Future's visitation history. Who knows, though? After seeing the Bucks, Saints, and Falcons play halfway decent ball this year, I'm going to just come out and say the AFC South is most definitely the worst and most winnable division in football. The Jags can practically fall backwards over Shad Khan's mustache into a playoff berth at this point. So, whatever. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Now the Bengals. Nigga. I mean, I know Flem has got to be sick right now. As early as last week, I was saying Cincy was on the verge of figuring it out. But again, nigga, this team is about as intimidating as effing Tigger. Joe Burrow looks like Mr. Glass out there, and Jamar's response to being asked about the team's troubles is the bitch about his targets. Yeah, I think I'm ready to hit the panic button on the Fighting Frosted Flakes mascots at this point. Next, the Mr. Omar Award for most tragic team besides anyone who has to play the Chiefs this year and hear 10,000 Taylor Swift references that you both don't know or give a fuck about goes to the New York 747s. Damn, man. Like, y'all literally were a competent QB away from contention. And then y'all went out and got Joe Rogan's best friend, and his old ass ACL decided to say nope 4 snaps into the season. Like, watching y'all's games is like watching the young bull fumble that bad bit he had no business bagging to begin with in real time. Like, I have not been so personally angered by QB play since watching the Broncos be forced to run the ball 50 damn times in one game because Tim Tebow was too busy learning how to speak in tongues to learn how to throw a football to an Olympic-sized pole. And no, I don't want to hear about the one good half of ball that Zach played after 3 years of playing like straight dog Duke. You bought 1 bouquet of roses for your girl and then heart-eyed your ex's thirst reel right after. Nigga, you deserve this L, for real. I'm doing a whole video on this on the other channel next year, but if Zach Wilson was Shaq Wilson, ain't no way he gets drafted number 2 overall. Not with just as bad, but at least can run, and mid-incarnate still left on the board at least. And yeah, I did just make it a race thing. Bitch about it somewhere else if you have a problem. This is a barbershop after all, remember? All right, so now the Denny Green, they are who we thought they were award goes to the Minnesota Vikings and the New York Football Giants. See, I told y'all they'd be coming back up. Like, it's so fitting that both participants of the Fraud Bowl 2023 get this award. Like, the Vikings are basically that one team you played in high school that never won any games, but they have that one nigga who's probably going to go D1 anyway. That was my team, by the way. And no, I wasn't the D1 nigga. The secondary is still garbage. Dalvin Cook is gone. Kirk Cousins is still the stat pad MVP, and Prince is rolling over in his crushed velvet-lined coffin. The Giants, man, nigga, did you watch that Monday night game? Okay, moving on. Next up is the These Niggas Is Serious award, which goes to the Bills and the Seahawks. Josh Allen seems to have finally figured out that he's not the backup punter, so that's kind of a problem for any D that's got to play him now. Also, Buffalo's D is legit, even being down Tre'Davious White. For like the last 10 years, the Seahawks formula has been find the realest nigga in the league, trade for him, make him captain, and then profit. And somehow it works every time. Next is the We Wish We Had a Super Sim button award, which goes to Kansas City and the Philadelphia Eagles. Any team with Patty Mayonnaise on it is going to be a contender, in my opinion, unless it's the Bears, obviously. But y'all were one really bad case of catches up with you eventually away from possibly losing to Zach Wilson. On top of that, y'all actually did lose the opener to the These Niggas Might Be Serious first runner-up Detroit Lions. I still got y'all going to the conference chip at least, but Pat, nigga, you need to chill with the hero ball now. It ain't working like it was before. I don't know, maybe this is karma for your boy deciding to cosplay a Reno 911 character. All right, so now to the Eagles. I said before that if we get 4 games deep into the season and Jalen is still throwing for $1.5 billion, to go ahead and give me a call, because at that point it's time for the entire Delaware Valley to collectively hyperventilate. But here we are, and week 3 and week 4, we got 277 and 319 back to back. I'd say the passing
they are who we thought they were.
That being said, Philly's problem, aside from evidently a pox falling upon the back 7 of the defense, is that when one side of the ball decides to get its ish together, the other side decides to call out for MK1 release day. That's a problem. Like, y'all really can't be doing that when the calendar strikes November and you got to run that Kofi Mania gauntlet. I mean, unless y'all want Mustafa's ending, that is. And finally, the Ron Simmons Damn Award for the biggest dumpster fires in the league so far goes to the Denver Broncos and the Chicago Bears. Like, damn, nigga. Just damn. Damn. All right, that's been y'all quarter season award show. Be sure to tune in next, whenever. All right, deuces. Go Birds.